All right, guys, we got to talk about the sizzling hot Steven Kwan and the ice-cold Brian Rocchio. Until a month ago, Brian Rocchio had clearly been the Guardians' not best player, but most consistent player.
We both named him the MVP of the first half when we were on the panel with
Right,
Jim
because
Crawford.
he had been consistently good. And now, just as Steven Kwan, who had been terrible for much of the season, has gotten sizzling hot, Brian Rocchio has fallen off a cliff. There's the numbers for the last 30 days.
Startling. Startling.
You're talking about, 86, if you include walks, roughly 100 plate appearances by both guys. Kwan over the last month, 419 batting average. The homers and ribbies, are the same.
They're identical for both, by the way.
Kwan doesn't really hit homers. But a 995 OPS for a guy with no power, that's ridiculous.
Insanity.
And Rocchio with a 449 OPS, which is hideous, and the batting average a terrible 168. The question is, can Kwan stay hot? Neither guy is going to play like this the rest of the year, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately in Kwan's case, and fortunately in Rocchio's case. If you ask me, who's going to play closer there to these numbers in the rest of the season, I would say Kwan. But he's not going to be this hot the rest of the season. He's making up for a bad. What are his numbers now in the year? What's his OPS for the year?
700 on the dot.
So he's still below league average.
But he was 575 on July 1st in a month and a week.
I get it, but a
and
season. But if you'd done better earlier in the year, maybe they'd have more wins.
Fair,
you don't get to just wipe out what you did the whole season.
I'm just saying, in the last 6 weeks,
last 6 weeks
he's
he's
been as good
been
a hitter
great.
in baseball as anyone.
He's still been singles hitter.
Fair.
As
hot as anybody.
Yeah, he's been hot at getting on base. The OPS to be that high is just absurd because he doesn't get a lot of extra base hits, and extra base hits play a big role in your OPS. So
when you watch him, I knew he was starting to dial back in because before he was swinging at pitches that were completely out of the strike zone. He looked like he was swimming at the plate. And the other day, I watched him take a ball forward that was. I'm like, how the heck did you take that? When you take a pitch like that, that means up at the plate, you're in the matrix a little bit. You're seeing it well. To explain it, there's nothing like it. I played basketball, I played baseball in high school, I played football. When you are at the plate and you are locked in, it seems like the baseball is like a beach ball.
Yeah.
It seems as if it don't matter if it's a curveball. It don't matter if they're trying to pitch you inside. It don't matter if it's on the opposite third of the plate. You just see the ball very well. And it's like you're in this zone where you're not thinking, you're just swinging and you're making consistent contact every time. It's like a three-point shooter pulling up and you're just like, I just know this is going in.
Yeah.
There's nothing harder in sports than hitting a baseball.
Agreed.
Nothing.
I don't even know how you can make an argument for it.
I don't even know how literally it's possible to be truthful at those speeds.
Crazy.
And velocities.
You have. Think about it, right? If you shoot, Kwan's batting average now is 268, which is actually for the year a pretty good batting average in this era of baseball. If you were shooting 26.8% in the NBA, you're garbage.
Terrible.
If you have a 27 completion percentage as a quarterback, you're the worst quarterback in football.
Yep.
I know it's not completely apples to apples, but you have to hit with a ball that moves crazy or goes 100 miles an hour or 90-something miles an hour. You have literally a millisecond to make a decision whether you're going to swing the bat, get the right swing path, and your mechanics have to be right.
Flawless.
I was listening to Alex Bregman.
3 homers yesterday.
With 3 home runs yesterday, and he had a terrible first half. And he's been like Kwan with power. The last 5-6 weeks, he's been absolutely on fire.
I saw he's hitting 350 the last 3 weeks,
right.
Which is still 50 points. Almost 100 points lower than Kwan, which is nuts.
Right. But he's got power.
Yeah, a lot of power.
But Bregman who's one of the most thoughtful guys in Major League Baseball, was talking about how his shoulder and hip got out of alignment. And it's like, as a fan, you're not thinking about what's going on with his shoulder? What's going on? But he was talking about how to be a successful hitter, your shoulder as a right-handed hitter, your left shoulder, and your hip, they have to open kind of, how you swing and your shoulder comes open, your hip comes open. They have to be in alignment. They have to come on. And if you're out of sync a little,
it does everything.
It kills you.
Yeah.
And it sounds like something, that should be easy, but it's not, because you're having to decide in a split second, can I hit this 100-mile-an-hour fastball? Is that curve going to break in, or is it a slider going the opposite way? It's just so crazy. And so one little tweak could make such a huge difference. And you're right. When your mechanics are synced back in and you're seeing the ball, guys will talk about seeing the ball. You know, a lot of times when a guy is struggling, I can even see this at youth baseball. You see them up at the plate, like kind of nervous and trying to guess what the pitch is going to be, as opposed to just seeing it and hitting it.
And that's why, if the question is which one of these streaks am I buying is going to continue more, I'm buying, unfortunately, that Rocchio is going to continue to struggle for the remainder of this season for two reasons. A, if you look at their overall track records, Kwan's been a much better hitter. Obviously not the level of hitter he is for the last 30 days. He's not a 400
Nobody
hitter.
can keep that. Well, there's no such thing as a 400 hitter.
Yeah, exactly. But he's been a much better hitter than we saw earlier this season. And I think him being locked in right now, it's harder for Kwan to fall out of being locked in at this level than it is for Rocchio to then all of a sudden snap and get back into where he has to be. When the track record for Rocchio, it's like we're talking about Albert Pujols that's in a little bit of a slump, that he has the track record to lean back on and get back in. Rocchio, for better or worse, he had his great playoff moment. Playoff Rocchio was a guy we considered a zero in the lineup entering the season. He had played awesome. Nobody beside, I don't think anyone on this show has been higher on Rocchio for the majority of the season than I have been. He's my biggest surprise. He was my first half MVP. But he looks lost. He looks unconfident. He looks unsure of himself.
And his season stats now look like they have in the past few years.
Exactly. So I think that is more of a long-term indicator of what we're going to get over the last 40
I
games.
still think
Then Kwan, who even if he falls back, like it wouldn't shock me if Kwan hits 360 for the rest of the season. It would be surprising to me if Rocchio hits.
I don't think you realize how hard it is to hit 360 for another 6 weeks.
He won't hit 360. The way he's seeing the baseball right now,
but he's not going to hit 360.
We'll see.
He won't hit 360.
350.
No, it's not.
349.
I bet you won't even hit 300.
348.
Right.
You don't think from today to the end of the season he would hit 300?
Probably not.
You don't gamble?
It's hard to
don't
do
gamble,
that.
So we'll put a PTO day on it.
All right. Well, no, I don't want to do that. But
he's like, no,
no. I think we'll see. It'll be a gentleman's bet. He might hit.
I get the coach your little league team.
He might hit 300, but 350 is really hard. Hitting 350, he's already hit 400 over a long stretch. To hit 350 over another 6 weeks is almost impossible.
310. I get to coach your little league team for a game.
No. Nobody's coaching my team but me.
Man, I think Rocchio is.
Rocchio, I think, is going to be fine the rest of the way. I think he'll be all right.
His DNA. He's an up and down player. He can get hot. He can make some really nice plays in the field, but he can also give you some routine errors, and he can go through stretches where it looks like he's lost at the plate. I just think more than not, I think most MLB players are kind of like that. Like,
Kwan's doing it right now.
There is very few MLB players that are just consistently good to solid at the plate and consistently to good in the field. I just think it's tough to do that in today's baseball because everybody is so specialized. Like, there's very few guys that are like, okay, I'm a switch hitter, I'm a solid in the field. Like guys that are batting 300 but got gold gloves and 4 or 5 tool players, I don't think they exist like that no more.
There are some, but
there are a few, but not.
I mean, who's a 5-tool player?
I mean, Aaron Judge
is not a 5-tool player.
He's a pretty good fielder, pretty good base runner.
But 5-tool is like, I think Pete Crow Armstrong.
But Pete Crow Armstrong was definitely
a 5-tool player.
Can you count Ohtani as a 5-tool player?
He doesn't play defense,
but he pitches.
Yeah,
that counts as an extra tool.
I guess in a way he is. Yes.
Could you give me the last, I guess, super great 5-tool player? I think back in the day.
Right now it's become Pete Crow Armstrong.
Okay.
He's the favorite to win the NL.
He's going to have over 30 steals, over 30 homers, and he's the best defensive player in the game.
Yeah.
Like at center field.
That's crazy.
Jose was a 5-tool player in his peak.
Yes.
Base running.
Yeah.
Defense. Power.
Yeah.
Average.
He wasn't great at getting on. He wasn't a great on-base percentage guy because he didn't walk a lot, but that's not technically one of the 5 tools. So, yes, Jose has been. And so was Mike Trout.
Trout was.
Was Lindor? Peak
Yes.
Lindor. Peak
Yes.
Okay.
They're few and far between though.
Yeah.
There's not many
we
guys.
thought Grady Sizemore was.
Julio Rodriguez, Seattle.
It was only really 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, PCA is the
Judge
answer
is
right now.
not an elite level defensive player.
He's
a
solid.
good.
He's
He's
solid,
a
and
good defensive player.
and he's a good base runner.
Are you
But he's
counting?
not an elite base runner
That-
either.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Are you counting now defense? Are you counting arm? Like usually in like right field or shortstop or third,
Ronald Acuna.
people used to be like, "Hey, man, he got a
Acuna
crazy
is a
arm.
5-tool player.
Crazy arm." But
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that count as defense though?
It's
Like,
part,
you
it's
got-
part of defense.
It's
yeah,
part
it's
of
part
it.
of defense.
Yeah,
but
It's not the whole thing.
yeah. No, it's they're hard. They're few and far
It's
between,
crazy.
you know.